Welcome to our deep dive on navigating U.S. employment immigration as a recent graduate. Today, we will clarify why securing a job offer comes before choosing your visa, how the TN route can often be the most accessible first step for eligible Canadians and Mexicans, and what role an immigration lawyer actually plays in the process. We will also outline practical steps to vet professional counsel for scenarios where you can choose, and we will compare TN and H-1B so you can plan your pathway with confidence. To keep things engaging, we will include diagrams and short quizzes. First, let's set the agenda so you know exactly what's coming next. Here's the plan for this video. We start with the big picture and why the job offer drives the immigration process. Then we compare TN and H-1B, followed by a clear explanation of the lawyer's role and who the real client is. Next, we walk through how to vet independent counsel, if and when you need to. Finally, we wrap up with a concrete action plan and resources, plus a couple of quick quizzes to reinforce learning. With that overview in place, let's begin with a short but important disclaimer to frame this discussion appropriately. Before we proceed, please note this is educational content, not legal advice. Immigration law is complex and fact-specific, and only a licensed attorney who understands your full situation can advise you. Regulations and processing practices change, and employer policies also vary. Therefore, use this video to understand concepts and structure your questions, but always confirm with a qualified professional. With that in mind, let's transition to the big picture that underpins all employment-based immigration. The job offer comes first. The core rule is simple. Employment-based immigration starts with the employer and the job offer. Without a confirmed offer, your visa options remain theoretical and cannot be filed. For eligible Canadian and Mexican nationals with a matching degree and role, the TN is often the most straightforward initial route. Meanwhile, H-1B is cap subject and highly competitive, and employers rarely initiate H-1B sponsorship for individuals not already working with them in the United States. Therefore, your first tactical priority is securing a job offer that clearly aligns your degree with a qualifying TN profession, accompanied by a detailed offer letter. Now that we have the big picture, let's move into the TN essentials you should know as you target roles. To qualify for TN, your degree and job must align with a profession on the TN list, such as engineer, accountant, or computer systems analyst. The job offer letter should precisely describe duties that mirror the TN category, rather than vague or mismatched responsibilities. Canadians often apply at ports of entry with original documents, while changes of status or certain scenarios go through USCIS. Processing at the border is typically faster but requires meticulous preparation. TN status is generally granted in increments of up to 3 years and is renewable, making it a practical initial step for employment. With TN basics covered, let's compare TN with H-1B so you can prioritize your efforts strategically. This table contrasts the TN and H-1B categories across qualification, employer role, timing, suitability for new graduates, validity, green card alignment, and risk. For many new graduates who are Canadian or Mexican citizens with a qualifying degree and role, TN can be the most practical first step due to faster processing and clearer criteria. Conversely, H-1B involves a lottery and is less likely to be initiated by employers for candidates outside the United States who they have not already hired. Next, to visualize decision-making, we will look at a step-by-step path from job offer to starting work. After accepting the job offer, you and the employer should immediately confirm the correct TN category and ensure the job duties align with that category. Assemble your documentation, including degree, transcripts, licenses, and any needed evaluations. If the employer uses immigration counsel, coordinate with them for letter language and a document checklist. Depending on your situation, you may apply at a port of entry or file with USCIS. Build your onboarding plan around the likely timing of adjudication or admission so both you and the employer can plan a realistic start date. Now, let's address one of the most misunderstood aspects of employment-based immigration. Who is the lawyer's client? In most employment-based immigration matters, the employer is the petitioner and therefore the primary client of the immigration law firm. If the company already retains counsel, you will almost always be required to work with that firm. While counsel often supports both employer and employee, the law firm's ethical obligations primarily run to the petitioner. That is why hiring your own attorney will not secure you a job, Instead, concentrate on matching your academic credentials to in-demand roles that fit TN categories. To make this concrete, let's visualize the workflow among applicant, employer, and counsel. This sequence diagram shows the typical flow. You interview and secure a job offer. The employer then engages immigration counsel to assess the correct TN category and refine job offer language. Counsel gives you a document checklist. You provide credentials, such as degrees and licenses. The employer issues a finalized offer letter with duties aligned to the TN category. You apply at a port of entry or file with USCIS, and upon admission or approval, you begin work. Counsel also helps the employer maintain compliance records. With roles clarified, let's learn how to assess independent counsel in scenarios where you can choose one. When you need independent legal advice, start by defining your exact goal and facts. Shortlist attorneys who focus on your specific visa type. Seek referrals from individuals who successfully completed similar matters. These are more reliable than generic online ratings. Verify the attorney's license, bar membership, and any disciplinary history. During a consultation, evaluate responsiveness, clarity, and realism. Finally, insist on a written engagement that outlines scope, fees, and timelines. This disciplined approach helps you select professionals who are both honest and effective. Before we finalize your plan, let's take a quick quiz to reinforce what you've learned so far. Quiz time. Question: in most employment-based U.S. immigration cases, who is the primary client of the immigration law firm? Options: A, the foreign national employee. B, the U.S. employer, the petitioner. C, the government agency. Or D, both parties equally by default. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the correct answer in the next section. The correct answer is B, the U.S. employer, the petitioner. In employment-based cases, the employer usually engages counsel and is considered the primary client. Although counsel may communicate with and assist the employee, their ethical and legal obligations primarily flow to the petitioner. Now, let's check your understanding of the visa strategy for new graduates. Second quiz. Question: for a new Canadian or Mexican graduate whose degree matches a listed TN profession, what should usually be the first strategic focus? Options: A, hiring an attorney to secure a job. B, filing H-1B immediately from abroad. C, securing a job offer aligned with a TN category. Or D, waiting for the next H-1B lottery. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the correct answer in the next section. The correct answer is C, securing a job offer aligned with a TN category. The job offer drives the process, and TN is often the most accessible initial route for eligible Canadian and Mexican nationals whose degree matches a listed profession. With that confirmed, let's convert everything into a practical action plan you can follow. Convert your strategy into a timeline. In the first 2 weeks, target roles that clearly map to a TN category and tailor your resume accordingly. As you approach an offer, ensure the job duties align precisely with the TN profession. In weeks 2 to 4, gather documentation, verify whether you will apply at a port of entry or through USCIS, and coordinate with employer counsel if assigned. In weeks 3 to 5, file and plan your start date around the expected adjudication or admission. Next, let's include a quick, markdown-based resource section you can reference while preparing. Use these checklists to make your offer letter and documentation audit-ready. For the offer letter, ensure the title and duties clearly match the TN category and include the worksite, supervisor, and compensation. For documents, organize degree, transcripts, licenses where applicable, any needed credential evaluations, and a valid passport. During interviews, practice concise statements that map duties to the TN profession criteria. Finally, when researching counsel, rely on referrals from people who succeeded in comparable cases rather than general online ratings. To bring it all together, let's crystallize key takeaways. Remember these points. First, the job offer drives the entire process. Second, for eligible Canadian and Mexican graduates whose degree aligns with a TN profession, TN is often the fastest initial route. Third, H-1B is competitive and not typically initiated for individuals not already employed in the United States. Fourth, in employment-based cases, the employer is usually the petitioner and primary client. Lastly, when selecting independent counsel, favor referrals from successful cases, verify credentials, and assess responsiveness. To close, let's summarize and outline your next steps. In summary, your immediate focus should be a TN-aligned job offer, supported by a precise offer letter and organized documentation. If the employer retains counsel, coordinate closely and follow their guidance. When independent advice is necessary, use referrals from successful cases and verify credentials. Plan your timeline realistically and aim for flawless documentation to reduce friction at adjudication or admission. Before we say goodbye, if you found this helpful, please consider supporting the channel and sharing your experiences. Thank you for watching. If this roadmap clarified your next steps, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more practical immigration strategy content. In the comments, tell us your field of study and which TN category you believe fits best, or share any questions you want covered next. As you move forward, remember, secure the job first, align it to the right category, and execute with precision. See you in the next video.